of today.
You think he'll talk about Trembling Jay?
Maybe. I'm not too sure about that. I want a visual. I need a visual for this. I need a PowerPoint slide.
Well, this is the visual right here, and obviously the colors that you just saw on radar, not what you want to see, all the bright colors. But again, Steve is going to be coming up here in, less than 10 minutes probably. He'll focus in on that for you. But just want to give you a quick heads up a little bit about what's going on.
That's it, because that's not only going to impact you out the door in the coming days, but coming home too. That's the problem.
All right, so that is, as we get ready for all that this week, something else we're getting ready for this week potentially as well, the FDA and the Pfizer vaccine.
Big deal. When you talk about these trials, we've been talking about Pfizer being able to be used for 12 to 15-year-olds. Now they're actually doing trials for babies into
as young as 6 months.
Yeah,
that's
big deal. Big
deal. The what should be happening this week, what is going to be happening this week, is the FDA expected to, one way or another, either yay or nay, on the Pfizer vaccine for 12 to 15-year-olds. Again, this is Moderna, or Pfizer, both Moderna and Pfizer working on even younger than that. But this week, we should know, 12 to 15-year-olds, eligible or not for the Pfizer vaccine. The CDC would then have to vote on it as well. But look, I got a pair of 13s in my house.
That would mean your whole household.
Absolutely. That would be my whole house. My 16-year-old is actually going to be getting her second shot this week, so excited about that. But yeah, a pair of 13s in my house, and so the ability to say we're all covered, regardless of what anybody else wants, because I get that, I hear that argument all the time from folks who don't want to get the shot, and it's up to you. Of course. It is, the argument is, you can have your shot. What does it matter if I don't have the shot, or if you? Thing is, you can still get the virus. I can still be a carrier. And I can carry it back to two people in my house who aren't even eligible to get the shot yet.
Exactly.
So now that they will be eligible at that point, then I don't mind. Then, then I don't have to really worry about it, because even if I do carry it back,
they will have a less severe case of it. That's what a doctor was saying with the CDC earlier today, is with all of these trials, they're saying with children, because they could still develop lung issues, especially if they catch a bad case of COVID, the vaccine would help prevent that. And they were saying a crazy statistic in my mind, 100% efficacy rate in children in the test trials that they have done. They're still doing more trials. They're still trying to find out how effective it can be, but so far it's a pretty good success rate, I would say, in children. I would say so.
So we'll see later this week.
We'll send you a push alert when, if we find out that all happens.
Something else we're following actually today up at the state capitol, a couple of marijuana bills, and these are conversations that are going on actually not just in Louisiana, like all 50 states, coast to coast. Marijuana, from medicinal to recreational, and how to work all that, but a couple of bills moving through right now.
How it would be regulated, how it would be enforced, how all of that would go down. Happening at the state capitol today. It's moving through the House, and if it passes through the House, expected to make its way through the Senate. And this is progress. When you talk about these types of bills that have moved through this legislative session before, not so much success. So this is leaps and bounds in what we've seen in the past.
It's never made it to the governor's desk. These types of bills have never made it to the governor's desk. Now, for this particular governor, as he goes when he talks about something like this, he's actually commented on this a couple weeks ago when asked if these kinds of bills, if this bill would make it to his desk, which way would he go? He was a bit non-committal, not tipping his hand so much, but certainly made it clear that he would be talking more about it
once we figure out what it's doing
so
in the state capitol.
There you go. So all that's going on.
Our Chris Rosado's tracking that. We'll keep you posted.
Did you watch any of the sports world over the weekend?
A little bit, bits and pieces, but I mostly got the highlights this morning, and they were good.
Really good.
Can we start talking about softball, just because I love the ladies and they are doing it. They are doing the dang thing.
They are getting ready. Obviously, their next game is going to be postseason. They are off to the SEC tournament as the 5 seed after winning the series over the weekend against Auburn. And it came down to that Sunday game, the rubber match, and it really came down to the final couple of innings. I mean, they were behind 1-0 to the visiting Tigers in the 6th inning. Miss Pleasance. Gadoosh. Grand slam. And I mean, you talk about stepping up literally to the plate.
I mean, you heard her talk about it. She's like, oh, once I saw it, I was like, okay, I'm there for that. Like you said, the whole team was on there. Just seeing their reaction, seeing Coach Tarina, all there congratulating her in the end. I mean, they were all just so stoked. What a way to end their regular season.
To be able to get that kind of a win and that kind of a moment, to wrap it up, and now you get that kind of momentum going into the tournament. Because here's the thing, they could end up playing Auburn again on Wednesday. It's Auburn and South Carolina, kind of like in the play-in game, to face the 5 seed in the tournament. The 5 seed is LSU. And so it could be Tigers and Tigers again.
Okay.
We'll see. South Carolina's kind of struggled this year, so it probably is going to be Auburn again.
Yeah.
But anything can happen as the SEC tournament gets going. Lots of fun.
You just got to watch and
Yeah,
wait and
you do.
see.
You do.
That's awesome.
Southern baseball, they're getting ready. They got one more game
Yeah.
actually before the SWAC tournament gets going, but they wrapped up their regular conference season over the weekend.
Yeah.
With a nice win over Texas Southern,
So,
their rubber game as well.
Texas Southern now 10 straight losses in a row.
Yeah,
is that
that's
right?
they were. Let's see, they were 9 coming in, but so I think they lost the 10th one and then they won one, so that broke the streak.
Okay.
And so now they're on a 1-game losing streak again. But Southern,
Yeah.
the important win again, as that now makes sure that they are above 500. In conference
That's
play.
fantastic.
It is. It's great. And so again, momentum going
Yeah.
into the postseason. They do have a game scheduled for tomorrow. We'll see weather-wise if any of this
Lafayette
happens.
on the
They're
road,
on the
right?
road.
Yeah.
On the road.
We'll see. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed they can still get it done, because
Yeah,
that would be
okay.
nice to continue that momentum.
It would. LSU baseball as well. Maybe a game tomorrow, but they're at home. We'll see what the weather has to say. That's La Tech. But they still got a couple of conference weekends to go. Alabama coming up next weekend.
Speaking of, just a really quick mention here, there's a really cool incentive going on with LSU and
That's
Our Lady of
right.
the Lake. If you want to get free tickets to the LSU-Alabama baseball game, go get vaccinated right before the game. No appointment necessary. It is walk up.
It's amazing.
They will give you a ticket to the game.
How amazing is that?
Come on.
And yeah, not for
you
just
need an incentive.
For tomorrow's
Yes.
game if it happens.
Yes.
But also the Bama games.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They're doing it through the 16th.
That's
Big
amazing.
deal. For free.
Exactly.
For free.
Vaccinated, ticket.
Yes.
LouisianaWeekend.com. TheLouisianaWeekend.com.
Yes.
The best crawfish in the area.
The
winner
best.
announced today, right?
Big deal. We started with 64
Right.
different businesses all around our viewing area.
Yep.
Now it is down to 2.
That's it.
Hole in the Wall and T-Wayne's.
Right. So that's essentially, not essentially, it is Livingston versus Ascension.
Yeah.
That's Livingston
Who
Bears
is
versus
it coming
Ascension.
down to?
Oh, East Baton Rouge might have to step in the middle for a little.
Ooh,
Hey,
put the
corners.
dukes up?
To your corners.
Wow.
But yeah, this is, and here's the thing we were talking about earlier, and everybody knows this as well. All 64. These are all fantastic places.
Of course.
We do crawfish right in so many different places.
Yes, and
down
so
here.
many different ways,
Yes,
too.
exactly.
Everyone's got their different fixings and what they put
Yep.
in it, and that's the magic of it. But the people have spoken.
People have spoken.
And we will find out who they have chosen as the best of the best.
LouisianaWeekend.com.
Yes.
Coming up a little bit later on.
That's it.
Actually, coming up here in a quick minute, we are going to talk to, again, the doctor in charge. He will see you now, in fact, and I'll give you the forecast.
Oh,
hey,
the
now.
doctor will see you now.
Hey,
What an introduction.
WAFB After Dark. Hey.
Wow.
But no, this is obviously the headline maker today. It certainly is going to be, and it's going to be for the next couple.
That's why we want to make sure you're just aware of what's going on, what you're going to step out to the rest of this day and this week, because a lot of you maybe have plans, maybe have games, outdoor activities with your family, with your kids. So a really good way to just be in the know.
9 News Now in the know for you. We'll see you again 9:15 again tomorrow morning on all the places you can find us, including YouTube and Roku and Apple and Fire Stick and all the fun stuff. But yeah, the need to know certainly on a day like today is going to be Dr. Steve.
Please. So without further ado, the doctor will see you now.
Oh yeah, he will.
Oh.
Man, that's a big.
How about that little thing? Look, it's only going to be a $50 deductible. Credit cards, Venmo, Cash App, any of that works for me. Okay?
Dr.
He's
Steve
talking to you.
You can only see him running
Hey,
out
look,
the
I'm
studio right
looking
now.
on your tab.
All right, let's update you on what's happening outside this morning. We do have some ongoing warnings right now. Now, I can tell you this first warning, even though it's still showing on our map, the Weather Service did cancel this first box here that covered the heart of Baton Rouge, but we have a second severe thunderstorm warning in effect through 10 a.m. That includes southeastern parts of EBR, parts of Iberville Parish here, all of Ascension, a little bit of Assumption, most of St. James, parts of St. John and the Baptist, southern half of Livingston. Pretty big severe thunderstorm warning. That is in effect through 10 a.m. Let's look at it on Doppler radar. And this is a nasty line of storms dropping to the southeast. Heaviest of it right now, moving along the Mississippi River, very near Donaldsonville. Be careful if you're in around Donaldsonville. That's where the most active storms appear to be at this hour. But heavy activity extending up through Prairieville into extreme southeastern parts of EBR, and now up through Walker. We've got heavy storms, and then Pierre Park start. Boy, down here in northern Assumption Parish, you got plenty of rain overnight, and now you got another heavy line moving in. We've had radar estimates 2 to 4 inches of rain down that way. So with this next round, that could push some of you up over 5 inches of rainfall for the day. Wouldn't be a surprise. So let me advance this now and bring it in closer. So again, heaviest storm is right here near Donaldsonville up to maybe near Geismar at this hour. Could be some damaging winds within this. Hail is possible. I've turned off the lightning on this particular view just to make the storm more obvious where it is, but frequent lightning, gusty winds, very, very heavy rain. Let me just sample, in fact, the rain rates for you, give you an idea of how heavy this rain is. So the cell near Donaldsonville, the rain rate better than 5 inches per hour. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to get 5 inches of rain in 1 hour. It would have to sit on top of that location for an entire hour and rain at that rate, but still that equates to obviously some very intense rain that is coming down in these storms. Turn on the velocity view. Now, this is actually from what we call the terminal Doppler radar in St. Charles Parish. What does terminal Doppler mean? Well, by some of the airport terminals around the country, they're somewhat less powerful Doppler radars, but we still use them sometimes to kind of supplement our coverage. This one actually gives us kind of the closest view of what's going on in maybe lower Ascension Parish. A couple of scans ago, we were seeing some pretty strong winds showing up near Donaldsonville. Doesn't look like the signature is maybe as strong right now, but if you're getting any strong winds, it probably most likely there, and then also maybe some stronger winds showing up here between Gonzales and Prairieville. So looks like the worst of the winds, at least right now, potentially moving through Ascension Parish at this hour, but intense storms extending out over the basin, as I said, approaching northern Assumption Parish back into Iberia, lower St. Martin, St. Mary, you're going to start to get in on it, and then the northern part of that line, not quite as intense, but moving into Livingston, also some pretty heavy storms at this hour. Now, as we widen the view out, this initial intense line dropping to the south and southeast, headed toward New Orleans, at least part of that. They don't need it. Flash flood warnings ongoing, and that's just going to be more trouble down there in Metro New Orleans with overhead street flooding. But I want you to note we've got some moderate to heavy rain ongoing along the state line, and here in Baton Rouge, still a little bit developing out to our west. The encouraging thing is to see things drying out as you get, say, north of Point Capee and St. Landry parishes. Things are drying out and improving. So as we work our way through the morning and get closer to lunchtime and beyond, we should start to see things drying out from north to south. Flash flood watch in effect Metro Baton Rouge to the east. That's in effect through noon. And then as you go farther south, the flash flood watch earlier this morning was actually extended. So Assumption, St. James, Upper Lafourche, Terrebonne, St. John the Baptist, St. Charles, and Metro New Orleans. That flash flood watch in effect through 4 p.m. because the rains are going to take a little longer to get out of these areas because everything's kind of moving north to south today. So the Weather Service, I think, wisely extended that flash flood watch a little later in the day. Live look from our Sky 9 camera on top Our Lady of the Lake. So this is on Essen Lane, looking back toward downtown Baton Rouge right here. Here's the state capitol. Here's the Mississippi River Bridge right there. Not too long ago, couldn't make out any of that as the heavy rain was coming through. So you can see how the rains have now let up across the city. That is good news. 67 degrees right now at the airport. Winds have gone calm with the heavier storms now having passed off to the east of the airport. So as we get into the afternoon, rain chances should diminish quite a bit. Maybe not completely dry this afternoon, but a 20 to 30% chance of a few lingering showers of storm this afternoon. And if we get a few breaks in the clouds, temperatures may actually sneak up into the low 80s. It could depend. Some of you may be stuck in the 70s all day, but if we get a little sunshine, may get up into the low 80s. Here's the bad news. Even as we see some improvement by lunchtime and into the afternoon, not done. More storms ahead both tomorrow and Wednesday. Additional rounds because of the cold front that's moving into the region this morning. It's going to stall out over South Louisiana, and that's just going to keep the door open for additional rounds of storms. By Thursday morning, that front should finally get a push down into the northern Gulf of Mexico. As it does, drier air finally moves on in, a little bit cooler as well. Now Wednesday, we're in the 70s. A lot of that's due to the cloud cover and rainfall, but by Thursday, actually a little bit of cooler air moving in, highs in the mid-70s. Friday and Saturday, lows back down into the upper 50s. That's not bad for mid-May, and highs only in the low 80s through the weekend. So the good news here is while we've got some rough weather ahead still over the next several days, another active stretch, it does look like for the second weekend in a row, we'll get a good-looking weekend. We'll at least take that. And then on into next week, scattered rains return. It'll turn warmer, more humid, pretty typical for mid-May with morning lows mid-60s to around 70, highs in the mid-80s. So before we wrap it up, let me pull up radar one more time and just give you an updated look at what is going on. So we do still have a severe thunderstorm warning for areas near and especially east and southeast of Baton Rouge. That's in effect through 10 a.m. So still about another 25 minutes on that. The most intense storms look to be moving through areas from near, say, Geismar, Gonzales, or the south side of Gonzales, down to Donaldsonville, approaching Sorrento, about to move into St. James Parish as well. That appears to me to be the most intense of it right now. This will probably mark the end of the severe weather threat for the day once this line is past your location. Maybe not the end of the rain. As you can see, still some more rain developing west and north of Baton Rouge, but should be the end of the severe weather threat. So I'll be here tracking it through the morning. I'll be back on today, 9 News at noon, with an update on what's going on right now, at least that point in time, and an updated look at the next couple of days as we still look at the potential of some more rain. So it's been a very wet spring. That trend continues to start out this week. We'll go ahead and wrap it up for now, and hope to see you on air, 9 News at noon.